The Nazca Lines. Who drew the giant figures only the sky can see? There is a place on Earth where enormous birds stretch their wings across the desert, where giant spiders, monkeys, whales, and mysterious human-like figures are carved into the ground. Some of them are longer than a football field. Others extend for hundreds of meters in perfectly straight lines, yet from the ground. They are almost impossible to recognize. Only when viewed from high above do these incredible designs reveal their true form. Who created them? Why were they made? And perhaps the most puzzling question of all, how could an ancient civilization create artwork meant to be seen from the sky thousands of years before airplanes ever existed? This is the mystery of the Nazca Lines, one of the greatest archaeological puzzles on Earth. In southern Peru, between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific Ocean, lies one of the driest places on the planet, the Nazca Desert. At first glance, it seems empty. An endless landscape of reddish-brown stones, dust, and silence. Almost nothing grows here. Rain rarely falls. The air is dry. The winds are remarkably gentle. It is precisely these harsh conditions that have preserved one of humanity's greatest artistic achievements for nearly 2,000 years. The Nazca Lines cover hundreds of square kilometers. Across this vast desert, thousands of straight lines stretch toward distant horizons. Some run for several kilometers without noticeably changing direction. Others form enormous geometric shapes, trapezoids, triangles, spirals. And then there are the figures. A hummingbird with elegant wings, a giant monkey with a curling tail, a spider with impossibly long legs, a condor spreading its massive wings, a whale, a dog, a tree. Human-like figures staring toward the sky, each one carefully designed with astonishing precision. The first people to notice unusual markings in the desert were travelers crossing the region centuries ago. But they could only see small portions. The full designs remained hidden. Everything changed during the 20th century. As commercial aircraft began flying across Peru, passengers looked down through their windows and noticed something extraordinary. Shapes, patterns, animals. Perfectly straight lines stretching across the desert floor. From above, the Nazca Desert transformed into an enormous canvas, one unlike anything ever discovered before. Archaeologists soon realized they were looking at one of the largest collections of geoglyphs ever created. Most researchers believe the lines were made by the Nazca culture between approximately 200 BC and AD 600. That alone is remarkable. But what astonishes experts even more is how they were created. The builders did not dig deep trenches. Instead, they removed the dark, iron-rich stones covering the desert surface. Beneath those stones lay lighter-colored soil. By carefully clearing away only a few centimeters of rock, they created sharp, bright lines that contrasted with the darker landscape. Because the desert receives so little rain and experiences very little erosion, these lines remained visible for centuries. Simple, elegant, brilliant. Yet simplicity raises another mystery. Creating a small drawing is one thing. Creating a perfectly proportioned hummingbird stretching more than 90 meters across a desert is something entirely different. Without seeing the design from above, how could they possibly maintain accurate proportions? Modern experiments have shown that large figures can be created using ropes, wooden stakes, and careful measurements. By dividing a design into smaller sections and transferring each part across a larger area, surprisingly accurate images can be produced without leaving the ground. This suggests the Nazca people possessed excellent planning skills and practical geometry. No airplanes were necessary, only patience, precision, and remarkable organization. Still, another question remains. Why create them at all? Imagine spending weeks, perhaps months, walking beneath the burning sun, removing thousands of stones by hand, only to produce artwork that almost no one could fully appreciate from ground level. Surely such an enormous effort must have served an important purpose. Early explorers struggled to explain the mystery. Some believed the lines marked ancient roads. Others suggested they formed giant ceremonial pathways. Still others imagined they were part of forgotten calendars or maps. As more figures were discovered, the theories became increasingly imaginative. One of the most influential researchers was Maria Rieke, a German mathematician who devoted much of her life to studying and protecting the Nazca Lines. She spent decades measuring the figures, mapping the desert, and convincing the world that these fragile artworks deserved preservation. Rieke believed many of the lines had astronomical significance. She proposed that certain alignments pointed toward the rising or setting positions of the sun, the moon, and important stars during specific times of the year. If true, the desert itself might have functioned as a gigantic astronomical calendar, a place where ancient people observed the heavens and marked seasonal events essential for survival. It was a fascinating idea, and for many years, it captured the world's imagination.
But as new evidence emerged, archaeologists began questioning whether astronomy alone could explain the immense variety of lines and figures. Not every alignment matched celestial events. Many appeared to point in seemingly random directions. Some overlapped older designs, others crossed directly through existing figures. The mystery became even more complicated. As satellite imagery improved and drones began surveying the region, researchers discovered something unexpected. The famous animal figures represented only a small part of the story. Thousands of additional lines covered the surrounding landscape. Some stretched perfectly straight across hills and valleys. Others formed enormous geometric spaces unlike anything previously recognized. It became increasingly clear that the Nazca people were not creating isolated works of art. They were transforming the entire desert into a sacred landscape. A place where geometry, ritual, and nature came together on an unimaginable scale. Then came another remarkable discovery. Using high-resolution aerial photography, artificial intelligence, and drone technology, archaeologists began identifying geoglyphs that had remained hidden for centuries. Some were so faint they could barely be recognized from the ground. Others had been partially buried beneath drifting sediment. Every new survey revealed more figures, more symbols, more unanswered questions. Instead of solving the mystery, technology only made it larger. Today, more than 1,000 geoglyphs have been documented in the Nazca and nearby Palpa regions. Some are enormous. Others are surprisingly small. Some appear highly sophisticated. Others seem almost experimental. Together, they suggest generations of artists continued adding to the desert across many centuries.
But despite decades of research, one fundamental question remains unanswered. What was the true purpose of these incredible creations? Were they messages, maps, sacred pathways, astronomical markers, or something far more symbolic? To answer that question, we must step beyond engineering and mathematics. Because the greatest mystery of the Nazca Lines may not be how they were built, but why an entire civilization devoted centuries of effort to drawing pictures that only the sky could truly appreciate. The more archaeologists studied the Nazca Lines, the more they realized they were asking the wrong question. For decades, people wondered how the lines had been created. But by the late 20th century, the evidence suggested that ancient people possessed all the tools they needed. Wooden stakes, ropes, simple surveying techniques, careful planning. No impossible technology, no machines, no flying vehicles.
The real mystery was something much deeper. Why would an entire civilization invest so much time and effort into creating enormous figures across one of the driest deserts on Earth? To answer that question, researchers began looking beyond the lines themselves. They looked at the landscape, the climate, and above all, water. The Nazca Desert is one of the driest places on the planet. In some areas, years can pass without significant rainfall.
For ancient communities, water was more precious than gold. Without it, crops failed, animals disappeared. Entire villages could collapse. Beneath the desert, however, flowed underground rivers. The Nazca people developed remarkable underground aqueducts known as puquios, carefully engineered systems that carried fresh water to farms and settlements. Some of these ancient channels are still functioning today. This discovery changed everything. What if the Nazca Lines were connected to water?
Many archaeologists now believe that at least some of the lines formed part of ceremonial landscapes where rituals were performed to ask the gods for rain, fertility, and abundant harvests. Rather than being giant pictures meant to be admired from above, the lines may have been sacred pathways. Imagine hundreds of people walking slowly along perfectly straight lines beneath the blazing sun. Priests chanting, musicians playing flutes made from bone, offerings placed upon the earth, entire communities participating in ceremonies intended to maintain harmony between humanity and nature. In this interpretation, the figures themselves were not messages for people in the sky. They were part of a living ritual, a conversation between the earth and the heavens. Archaeological discoveries support this possibility. Researchers have uncovered ceremonial objects, pottery fragments, shell offerings, and evidence of ritual activity near several geoglyphs. Some lines appear to lead toward hills, springs, or places associated with underground water sources. Others intersect in ways that suggest organized processions rather than random designs. No single explanation fits every geoglyph, but together, the evidence points toward a landscape filled with religious meaning. Yet, despite these discoveries, another theory continues to capture public imagination more than any other: the alien theory. It is almost impossible to mention the Nazca Lines without someone asking the same question. Were they landing strips for extraterrestrial spacecraft? The idea became famous during the 20th century, especially through popular books and television documentaries. Supporters argued that the enormous straight lines resembled runways when viewed from above. They claimed the giant animal figures were messages intended for visitors from the sky. It was a thrilling story, easy to imagine, perfect for books and movies. But when archaeologists examined the evidence, the theory quickly fell apart. The so-called runways are covered with loose stones and uneven surfaces. They would be completely unsuitable for aircraft. Many lines climb steep hillsides, cross rocky terrain, and end abruptly at cliffs. Others are far too narrow. Some are only a few centimeters deep. More importantly, archaeologists have found evidence showing exactly how many of the geoglyphs were constructed using simple tools available to the Nazca people. Wooden stakes discovered at several sites have even been radiocarbon dated, matching the period when the lines were created. The extraordinary achievement belongs to the ancient builders themselves. No visitors from another world are required. And perhaps that is even more impressive, because the true story reminds us of something important. Ancient civilizations were capable of astonishing accomplishments. They observed nature carefully. They understood geometry. They organized large communities. They created monuments that still challenge our imagination today. Sometimes the greatest mistake we make is underestimating the people who came before us. In recent years, technology has opened an entirely new chapter in the Nazca mystery. Drones now fly across regions that were once almost impossible to survey. Artificial intelligence analyzes thousands of aerial images, searching for patterns too subtle for the human eye. Researchers have identified dozens of previously unknown geoglyphs, then dozens more. Some depict birds, others show humans carrying staffs or wearing elaborate headdresses. Several appear unlike anything previously documented. Each new discovery expands our understanding of the Nazca world. Instead of a few famous animal figures, we now see an enormous network of artistic expression stretching across generations. It is as though the desert itself became a giant ceremonial canvas, continually reshaped by the people who lived there. Even after nearly a century of scientific investigation, the Nazca Lines refuse to surrender all their secrets.
We still do not know the exact meaning of every figure. We cannot explain every straight line. Some designs overlap older ones, suggesting changing traditions over hundreds of years. Others remain isolated, as though created for purposes known only to the people who made them. Perhaps there was never a single explanation. Perhaps different lines served different purposes. Ceremonies, pilgrimages, religious symbolism, community gatherings, territorial markers, astronomical observations.
Human societies are rarely simple. Their monuments rarely have only one meaning. The Nazca Lines may reflect an entire worldview rather than a single idea. A landscape where art, religion, astronomy, engineering, and survival became inseparable. Standing in the middle of the Nazca Desert today, you see almost nothing. Just stones, sand, heat, silence. The masterpieces remain hidden beneath your feet. Only by rising into the sky do the giant hummingbird, the monkey, the spider, and the countless lines emerge from the earth. It is a powerful reminder that perspective changes everything. Some mysteries cannot be understood from where we stand. We must look from another point of view. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson the Nazca people left behind. Not simply enormous drawings, but a new way of seeing the world. For nearly 2,000 years, wind, sun, and silence have guarded their creations. Empires have risen, empires have fallen. Explorers have come and gone. Aircraft now fly above the very figures that ancient artists carefully traced across the desert floor. Yet the lines remain. Patient, quiet, enduring. They ask no questions. They offer no explanations. They simply wait for each new generation to look down from the sky and wonder. Who imagined something so vast? Who believed that a work of art could stretch across an entire desert? And what message did they hope would survive long after they were gone? Perhaps we will never know every answer, but that may be exactly why the Nazca Lines continue to fascinate the world. Because the greatest mysteries are not the ones we solve. They are the ones that inspire us to keep searching. Somewhere between the endless desert and the endless sky, the ancient lines still whisper a story that humanity is only beginning to understand.